The following presentation is brought to you through the paid memberships of NotaryStars.com, the only notary training platform and resource library with over 150 hours of training on every loan product under the sun. Together with our sister website, OnlineNotariesPublic.com, which focuses on notaries who are pioneering in remote online notary, we strive to give you a safe place to ask questions, get answers, gain confidence in your notary career, and achieve success without overfabricating the truths about our industry. If you would like to support us, please consider liking this video, subscribing to our channel, sharing this video with a colleague, or becoming a member and trusting us to help you achieve the level of success you desire.
Hey there, notaries and signing agents from across the United States. Thank you so much for being here. Ronnie, is there an eclipse? Oh, you're on mute. Still on mute.
I can't let it go yet. I had so much fun today.
Some of you, I'm sure, got to see at least a portion of that eclipse. If you were in Texas, you got a real show for sure. But hey, thank you so much for being here and that you didn't burn your eyes trying to look at the eclipse. Welcome to MGM, also known as Monday General Mentorship, brought to you every Monday except holidays, 5 p.m. Pacific Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Today is Monday, April 8th, 2024. My name is Beth Hathoot, and I'm joined by my two co-hosts, Mr. William, aka Bill Bumfrey, and Mr. Ronnie Mickle. We're all here to help you excel in your notary business. Hey, we can bring you up to snuff in notary certificates, specific documents, loan signings, remote online notary, client relationships, and notary business marketing. To help make this magic happen, though, we need to ask you a couple of quick favors. Please fire up those cameras. We want to see your beautiful faces. It makes it a little bit easier to do this for you when we can see actual faces in the gallery. And second of all, if you have questions or want to share something with a fellow notary, no sweat. Raise your virtual hand using the raise hand feature at the bottom of your screen, or if you prefer keyboard combinations, you can do Alt plus Y if you're on a PC, or Option plus Y if you're on a Mac. One final thing here before we get started. Keep your eye on the chat as the evening progresses, or the description if you're watching this as a replay, for links to other important pieces of information. So, Mr. Ronnie, are you ready to kick this off for us?
I am. I just want to remind everybody, we would really love for you to turn on your cameras. I know that some of you may be cooking dinner, tucking your kids in. It makes this session a lot easier to do. And I want to make sure that we can play off of you when we see your eyes cross and you're like, we don't know what you're talking about, or you're shaking your head, no, I don't agree with that, or yeah, that cheers us on. It really helps a lot, and it creates a sense of community as well. A couple of reminders that I want you guys to be aware of, and then I'm going to kick it off with a pretty harsh topic, and then we're going to go into the questions. A couple of reminders that I don't want you guys to miss. On April 15th, our mentoring session is going to have a very special guest, and if you guys are looking to make more money, we have a very viable product that every single one of you can do, which is translation services. They've actually been using our Notary Stars for Ron to notarize certain documents for translation services. I want you to come on April 15th and meet your new partner in translation services. You don't have to speak another language to offer translation services. You can turn them onto a company, a professional company that's like-minded, like Notary Stars, that wants to use notaries like Notary Stars to make these transactions happen. If you're working in apostilles, this can also be a really great thing for you. We're going to learn a lot about it on April 15th, so make sure you mark that for your calendar. You really won't want to miss it, because you can start making money nearly immediately from this partnership, okay? The next thing that I want to remind you is on April 17th, my SEO seminar, where there are over 400 and something registrants, including my marketing students, that will be there, that are going to learn how I get web pages to come up #1, and I can put my money where my mouth is. The registration will end on Monday, next Monday. So you have to be registered before next Monday. And then the next thing I want to point out to you is we're bringing in even more Apostille training at Notary Stars here. We will start that on April 29th mentorship. We're going to introduce you to some more Apostille training that you can get. And this actually comes with a software that you will probably want for your Apostille business. This software allows you to plug in what Secretary of State and what country you're going to, and it tells you how much everything's going to cost, what you need to do, what the package needs to look like when you send it off to that country or that state or from that state. So this is going to be something, if you're working in apostilles, you definitely don't want to miss. Another thing that I want to point out for Ron notaries, and then we're going to get into that big topic. For those Ron notaries out there, Mortgage Connect sent out an email today, and I wanted to make sure that you guys saw that email. If you're a Ron notary, they're going to have training on April 10th and April 12th. Now, I think I copied the link somewhere, but I don't have it on my notes right here at the moment, so I'll see if I can post it in the chat. If you are with Mortgage Connect and you're a Ron notary, they are now doing their training, and they're going to start putting it out, and they're doing it through their own platform or a platform that they partnered with. Make sure that you don't miss that training. It looks like they're only offering it twice, on the 10th and on the 12th. Okay. And they're not going to work with your schedule. They're going to work with their own schedule. Now, I want to bring up something today, and I am looking up something on my notes here. I just need to find the correct words because we're about to delve into something that we haven't talked about.
Not very much anyway.
Not very much, or actually, I don't think at all. Let me just pull up my notes on this here because I want to make sure that we get this right and we do this. Sorry guys, I just want to make sure that I read the correct thing here. Okay, here we go. So I want to talk about something that I'm very passionate about, that you guys have probably never heard in a notary talk before. Now, there are probably more women on this call and in this industry than anything. I'm the only boy of an 8-girl generation, and I have to tell you, this really blows my mind. There is a signing service in California, and we won't name their names because we don't speak of the devil, that actually sent a text message, and I'm going to show you what this text message was. And I want you to know, I want to know that this is not a nationwide signing service, not Nationwide Signing Services, but a nationwide signing service that sent this to a woman. Okay. And it is so inappropriate, but we have to talk about these things out loud, because if this has happened to you and you feel that you don't have a way to go, somewhere to go to or talk to, believe me, you've got support. So this image was sent to a notary, and it's been blurred out with their profile. And I'm going to read you exactly what it says. Well, sort of what it says. I've got more class. So if you can see my screen here, this is a laptop with a notary's profile from signing order in between a male's legs here. And this, I kid you not, is the message that was sent. I took a break to put my legs up and tap my computer with my ... And I swear to God, you were right there between my ... You were there on my computer screen. And then it said they apologized after they called them out and said, I apologize for being naked and horny with you, insinuating that they were naked with them. This is absolutely unacceptable in our industry. And unfortunately, this notary has a great deal of business that they had done for this signing service. So it puts them in a predicament to where they feel like they can't say anything. Because if I say something, what if they blacklist me? What if they don't pay me? What if I don't get that? And I'm talking about a significant amount of money. If you had $1,500 to $2,000 owed to you, it would put you in a position where you feel like you can't say anything. Does anybody disagree with that? Some of you might be like, oh, you know, heck no, like I'm going to say something. But some of you may be sitting there going, I don't know what to do. And if you don't know what to do, and this has happened to you, or this ever happens to you, and there were more vulgar text messages that were sent, I actually have copies of them. They contacted me and I sent it up the escalation, and I've been helping them deal with this situation. But I want notaries to know out there that if you find yourself in a situation where someone crosses that line or abuses you in any way, that you have someone to talk to. Me. If anybody, me. Beth will handle it. I'll handle it. And you can never let someone like this get away with it. Because the first thing that I thought when I read this text message was, this is not the first time that this person sent a message like this. And we all know someone like this. If they're going to be that bold and brazen, this isn't the first time. Okay, so if you are on this call or you watch this replay and something like this has happened to you, I would love nothing more than a second complaint against this company, and a third, and a fourth, and a fifth. And not because I consider them a competitor, because I'd never heard of them before. Because there's no place for that in this industry or on this planet. Okay, so I'm going to move past that for the evening, but I did wanted to make sure that you guys know, if you ever find yourself in a position where you don't feel like you have someone to talk to, you got a friend in me, you got a friend in Beth, you got a friend in Travis, because all of us were like, that's sick. Okay.
Yeah. Listen, we already have the stress of being put out into the field and being concerned about our safety. We don't need to get threatened from within our own circles. That's just unacceptable.
No, do not let this happen to you. And I'll say this, and then I really want to move on to our brilliant questions for tonight. If something like this has happened to you, scream and scream loud. Make sure someone hears you and make them scream too. Miss Beth, are you ready for the next question? And by the way, guys, get your hands raised, because we alternate between you guys that are here live and the ones that have written in previously. So make sure you raise your hand if you have questions, because we want to get you in, especially if you took time out of your day to be here.
Two things I want to ask you to assist with, Ronnie, before we move on. Can you put the registration link in the chat for your SEO conference that's coming up? Everybody has to be registered who wants to attend by Monday. I could not find the link in our notes here, so that did not get posted.
Okay.
So if you could post that for us. And then the other thing, back to Mortgage Connect with their training, they obviously have to be a onboarded notary with Mortgage Connect in order to take that training. But it looks like there's something like 38 pages of requirements for onboarding. Do you know anything about that?
I haven't onboarded with Mortgage Connect in, I don't know, God, 10 years.
Yeah.
I've just kept it up to date. So it was probably a lot easier back when I started. So I don't know how fast you can get onboarded. I wanted to make that announcement for those who are currently registered with Mortgage Connect. If you're not registered with them, you probably want to go get registered first, but you'll have to go to their website and do those. I still get their emails as a notary, and I'm actually really excited about it because I don't go out in the field anymore. We're too busy, but I can pick up a run on a Saturday. Everybody's got 30 minutes that they can slide into the day, and who doesn't like more money?
Exactly.
So if you are with them, please, make sure that you take their training, and I'm going to register for it as well.
Mr. Mickle, do you want to take this hand up in the gallery first, and then we'll get to questions that we've got from our jot form submissions?
Sure.
Miss Dawn Johnson, would you like to unmute and ask your question? I must not be able to unmute them.
There I go. There I am. Okay. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
I have a question that's burning because I'm in Georgia, and Georgia is an attorney state. So I received the signing and it was for a refinance and the property was in Georgia. If the property, and I responded, I was like, oh, I just got the documents and the property is in Georgia. Georgia's an attorney state, so it's required for an attorney to be online to complete the documents. And that's my understanding per the NNA. And and of course and of course in Georgia. So the agents, I guess the signing service, oh no, I'm sorry, the title company said they always do signings in Georgia. Which documents are a problem? And I was thinking it was all of them. Are there particular documents that are excluded when you're in an attorney state, or is it all hands off in an attorney state?
It is not all hands off. Georgia's regulations state that attorney must be present or involved.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't mean if he's not present at the signing, he's involved in the preparation of the document package. So
oh, so it's in the preparation of the document. They don't have to be on the phone, on video, on anything. They just have to have prepared the documents.
yep, present or involved. Yep, South Carolina, New York's the same way. New York's not an attorney state, but well, not 100%. Present or involved is how those regulations read. And if it's a purchase, sometimes they even require that it be closed with an attorney or in a title office. But refinances, yeah, present or involved, you're fine.
Oh, wow.
Ronnie?
I turned it down because I thought that the explanation of the documents was where the issue, the explanation and the presence of the attorney online or on video or whatever was the problem. But
Well,
it's
and
just
they could, yeah, and you could still do it and have an attorney on speakerphone during the signing as well. I've done several Georgia files that way and New York. They just have you dial in when you get to the location. The attorney listens in for the most part. Maybe we'll go over the closing disclosure and then just listens to the rest of your procedure back through the rest of the documents. So present or involved.
Present or involved. Okay, thank you.
You bet.
Dawn, where in Georgia are you?
I'm in Atlanta.
Okay, well, I'm gonna be in Atlanta next month, so look for an email coming out.
Will do.
I'm gonna try to get me some notary love while I'm up there. I'm gonna try to see my Georgia folks, and then I'll have Florida next month as well. I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, it's gonna be great in Georgia.
Miss Beth, there's actually one more question that actually is along the same vein. I'd like to go ahead and get that one from the jot form as well, if that's okay.
Sure.
It says, I'd like to know more about the subject matter. Living in an attorney state, I find it very difficult. Working in an attorney state where landing signing jobs are difficult, what are ways of going around, or how do I maneuver ways around this in order to be successful when I'm living in an attorney state of Georgia? So as Miss Beth just said, the attorney only has to be involved in Georgia. You can, I will tell you, they don't have title companies like we have in Arizona. Like you go to a sector of town and there's like 30 title companies. They have real estate attorneys, and you need to go and make sure that you're going into these real estate attorneys and explaining to them that the signers don't have to come to your office. They don't have to come across Georgia 400 or pay the toll fee. I can travel down to them and bring the documents back to you, and I've taken all of this training so that I can properly execute. If I know how to call you if something's wrong, you can get a lot of direct business. Now, there are title companies that do close properties that have nothing to do with Georgia properties. That, let's say they have a property in Florida, well, that only requires a notary, so you can take those properties. It seemed like you knew, Don, that the property had to be located in Georgia for those for that transaction, for an attorney to be involved. But you can go and explain to these real estate attorneys, and during the pandemic, a lot of them learned to work at home and work virtually and don't want to go back to the office and still are hanging on to not having to go to the office. They may be only going to do their signings at this point. And you can explain to them, no, look, mobile notary works out really well in other states. Let me go and represent you at the table. Go in with a presentation, just like we would for a title company, and meet that attorney, find out where they hang out. And I don't mean hang out, find out if they're going to events trying to get clients, or who they're talking with, or talk to the realtors that would work with the attorney later, and get known that way, the same way we would do with a title company, but let them know you can go do this for them. I see notaries who are just as successful in attorney-only closing states as notaries who are not. And you being in a major metropolitan area, I mean, Atlanta and Phoenix have always been kind of toggling between which one's bigger. You know, you're in a major area where you can go and do this. And, you know, I always have to be very careful what I say, but, you know, I was born in Atlanta. Like, that's where I'm from. And I have to say, like, if I was a Black woman in Atlanta with all the Black attorneys and the groups and that they have for, you know, I would go get a part of, like, the, you know, associations for Black women and Black women supporting Black women, and you will meet these attorneys. And I know some of them that are in these groups. You can go and start to meet them that way, and let, you know, realtors know, because, you know, this is the city where you really have a lot of opportunity to just rely on being a Black owned business and a female owned business. And you combine those two, you got a double threat there. You know, just like when I lived in West Hollywood, I really leaned into gay owned business. You know, that really worked well for me starting my business in West Hollywood. You know, your starting ground could really be a really great place for you to network with other, not only women, but other Black women that can open doors for you. You know, those attorneys out there, they're looking for other partnerships and things. They're building their business too. And it's a beautiful place. You know, if I could be a Black woman and live in Atlanta, I would own the world right now. I would just be working it left and right, knowing what I know about networking and business. Unfortunately, that wasn't in the cards for me. I had to move west.
All righty, Mr. Mickle. This is another job form question, and it looks like it's for you. Hey guys, we're 120 people right now. Get your hands raised if you want to get into queue and ask your question live, or share a tidbit that you want to share with some of your other fellow notaries here. But Mr. Ronnie, this says, I have a direct client that had new management. I currently do in-office signings for them, and the new management is expected to cut my fees. The escrow officer let me know she's okay with my fees, but I'm wondering how I should handle this. What would be your best advice?
I would say, well, I actually already answered this. I wanted to make sure that this got in there. I've had this happen to me too. And then in this particular instance, this is an outskirts title company from a major metropolitan area that's getting a new area manager. And they were paying the notary, I think, $125 or $150 for in-office signings. And the new area manager came in and said, no, we only pay the Phoenix notaries like $80 because they don't travel and they print in office. And so I laid it out for them like this. You can either take the in-office signing fee, or they're going to find someone else who will. And what are your opportunities? If you think you can negotiate, but most in-office signings are between $75 and $80. I've never really seen them higher, and you're lucky if you're getting that, because you're not traveling, you're not printing. Most of the in-office notaries I know live pretty close to the title company, and they go in when they're needed. Now, if it's a mobile signing, you can negotiate that fee. But the in-office signings, if they're going to cut your rate, I would say, you know, $75. You're not printing or traveling, and they're there to answer any questions. It can't get any easier or hand-fed than that. So take it.
There was another related question in here, and I'm trying to find it now too. And it had to do with printing and
I got
things.
it. I got it right here. This one I think you can help with. It says when you go direct with a title company or an escrow company you're working with, a company you're working with, print up the documents you need and you just pick them and you also return them when you finish. I don't have to, I don't have a dual printer as of yet. That will hinder me being able to, will that hinder me to be able to do any signings?
Yes. My first thought on that's a really short answer, and I apologize. Let me elaborate. My first thought about that is if she doesn't have a dual tray printer, that kind of tells me she's new in the industry and she hasn't quite got her equipment set up and things ready to go to be a signing agent. So if she's soliciting to go direct to title agencies, I'm going to say don't do that. You don't have the experience yet, or you possibly don't have the experience yet. I haven't spoken to you, but you don't have the equipment. When you work direct for a title company and it's remote for the title company, they expect a lot of you. If you are working direct and you have that local relationship with them, they will lean on you and you need to be ever ready, and not having a dual tray printer doesn't put you in the best position to do that. So that's my first thought on that. Ronnie, what was the other part of that where she is not printing when she's going into the office, or are they printing and letting her pick them up and take them somewhere? Do you think that's possible?
Back in like 2008, yes, not
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Now they're just gonna send you. Why would you want to drive and go pick them up and then go when you could just print them out on your setup? I mean, in 2008, I was driving around picking up documents because we didn't have these beautiful machines that we have now that are not that expensive in retrospect of what we can make. So if we were talking 2008, that's a sweet deal, but I would say you need to have the setup, because they may need you in office or out of office.
Agreed. Agreed. Righty. Let me see. There's another one here.
This one is actually for you, Miss Beth. It says, I finally got on with BankServe after months of trying. I was wondering if you knew anything about BankServe, and is there anything I need to know about them?
Well, BankServe is the signing service to the stars. BankServe was created by title companies to handle title company order distribution. You cannot use BankServe if you're a signing service. They strictly work for title companies. And when they're busy, they're really busy. And when they're not busy, and they have their own rating system, guys, if you make an error, it's likely going to hurt a lot. It's not going to be like AMROC where it's a 30-day notary jail. It stays on your record. So when you go to work and start to work for BankServe, you need to be top of your game. And Ronnie, you said something about video interviews they're doing.
Well, I haven't been out in the
them?
field. I haven't been out in the field in quite a time. I have already been approved, but when I was with BankServe, they did a video interview. For those of you that I can see your faces, are they still doing the video interviews? Where you can upload a video of yourself? I see Miss Haynes said yes. So that means one person did one. Anybody else that's on camera, that's all with BankServe done it? Carol said yes.
Yeah, I didn't do a video interview with them, but it's been a long time since I onboarded with them. I mean,
It was a part of my onboarding when I did it, and that was about 10 years ago, where you could upload a video and do it. I don't know if they still do it anymore, but it did seem to make it start coming more when I did do it. I saw Miss Haynes said that she did it Ms. Haynes, if you don't mind coming off mute, how long ago did you onboard with them?
I onboarded with them maybe a year and a half ago.
Okay, so they gotta still be doing
But
it.
it's still recent.
Yeah, it was a whole routine that you have to go through to get onboarded with them. And then after you do the paperwork, send the paperwork in, and then you do another little essay online, and then you do your little 5-minute or 2-minute video that you send in.
Mhm.
And they'll get back to you and tell you whether you're part of the group or not.
There you go.
Yeah, it really made a difference with the signings that I was getting 10 years ago when I did the video. So it really worked for me to get more signings. So I'm glad we got that out in the air.
So there's a couple of comments in the chat that says they just did it last year and did not have to do a video. So it may be random that they're asking for video interviews.
I also heard when I did it, I actually had to reach out to them. I do remember this. I had to reach out to them and ask them if I could get the video interview link, and then they give it to you. So if you haven't done one and you're not getting any, if you're getting signings, don't worry about it. If you're not getting them, because I wasn't getting them 10 years ago, and they said, oh, well, there's this one component. And so I've also heard if you ask for it, you can maybe do it. We got hands going up, which I love.
Ooh, Carol. Hello, Carol. How are you? Do you want to unmute and ask your question?
Well, I don't have a question. I just wanted to comment. I had 3 bank serves last week. I was so excited. I'm waiting to hear if I screwed up the last one. The first 2 were perfect. So I'm praying this third one was perfect. They are delightful. And they pay you fast, and
Yeah.
I love getting them.
Yeah, so you don't think you screwed up on the last one, do you?
Pardon, I don't think I did. I looked at document 3 or 4 times,
There you go.
trying to not, to make sure I didn't do anything wrong. I prayed like hell. So they would have got it went out Friday. So I don't know if they got it today or they'll get it tomorrow. But there was no hurry on it. That's the thing about BankServe. They aren't like, oh, we need you in 20 minutes at, an hour from your house or something.
Oh, well,
But
it
they're
could
real
happen, though.
good.
It could
I'm sure
happen.
it could.
They're a little more organized than handing it off to another third party, another like signing
Yeah.
service. So yeah, but yeah, it could happen though. Good.
They've been delighted. So I love them right now.
Awesome. Awesome. Laura Hinton. Hey, Laura. How are you?
Hi there.
Hey.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to first apologize for my appearance and my voice. I've had a cold for about a week. And so I'm still very raspy voice.
Not teach your bird to sound like that.
I know. She's just a sweetheart. She's been sleeping on my shoulder for about an hour. She's 32 years old, by the way.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I have been getting BankServe notices like crazy, but every time I click it, I mean, I'm doing it fast. I'm checking it within 5 or 10 seconds, getting on there. As soon as it buzzes, I'm snapping that app and getting into my account. And then it already says it's already been taken. So I don't know what's going on with my app, or I can't believe they've been taken that fast. So
They
what
are.
do you suggest I try? Is it really that fast that they're getting taken within the 5 to 10 seconds that I'm getting it?
Yep, absolutely.
So how do I get in faster? I mean, I'm just doing it as fast as I possibly can. I hear the notification. I'm on my phone and I tap the app and I'm in. I don't even have to log in because I use biometrics. So, I mean, I'm just in,
I would just contact them, Laura, and make sure, just say, hey, I just wanted to call and make sure that my notary vendor file is current, that you don't need anything, and that it's active, because I'm having trouble catching any orders. And sometimes not having all of the information they need. You still get the order sent out to you, but it puts you at the very bottom of the list. And
I
then
see.
there's the other issue of you coming into that process at the very bottom of the list. It
Okay.
takes time for you to sift to the top. So
Okay, I wasn't sure if it was one of those where like it spreads out and everybody gets them at the same time, you know, or if it does go, like you said, in a list order. But I thought it was like sort of like it goes out to everybody at the same time. And I'm thinking if it's going out to everybody, then why am I not getting in time, you know?
everybody who is in that radius for
Yeah.
that job, it's still going to go out that way, but
Yeah.
you may have another tier notice too. In other words, it could have already gone out to the ones that are closer to that
Yeah.
appointment location than you, and or has experience, past history with
Okay.
banks served. They could have already gotten it and chosen or clicked on it that they are available for that order. And then it goes out to the second tier to you. And now
Okay.
you're clicking on it, trying to get an order that's already been
Yeah,
picked off the list. So
I didn't know if
Is
anybody
that-
else had experienced that problem or not.
Can I
before.
also, I think I can do this actually without sharing the entire screen for the first time, because I've learned to do it. Can I kind of show people how it looks when it goes out?
sure.
Really quick, just so people can do, and Miss Laura, we got only like 10 minutes left, and I want to get the 2 hands raised and any questions that we have in is, so I'm gonna go pretty quick on this. Let me get it set up really quick on a notary search, and I'm just gonna do a notary search for 85016. Now you guys are only gonna see a portion of the screen. I'm gonna do it 85016. Now you're gonna have to take my word for it because I'm gonna share a portion of the screen. So let's go to advanced and share a portion. And I gotta find where there it is. All right, let me get it over here and I'm going to make this the shape. Now you guys can only see a portion of this and I'm going to make it where. So I did a screenshot and I know you guys can only see the amount of orders, how many hearts, how many blacklists, that sort of thing, right? That's all you really need to know. There are credentials over here that you can't see, but we have credentials as a signing service that we say, oh, well, the notary needs to have these things in order for us to even consider it, which is NNA certified, background check, no insurance, has a phone number, has a background check, which we have both of those checked, has a profile picture, and we have our block listed notaries hidden so they don't even get a copy of the order. So when this order goes out, and you can't see the other part of the screen, but I'll show you, this is Unlimited Inc.'s approved list in just this area of town. So this is within 20 miles, which I think you're just gonna have to trust me. It's within a 25-mile radius. If I go 25, it's gonna go down a little bit further. Now, this is everybody who's taken Notary to Pro, Notary Stars, has done a significant amount of orders. And then we start with the Notary Stars list of members of Notary Stars, and then everyone else. So when an order goes out and they have their preferred training, the list goes and it's going to text this person first. This person is 1.4 miles away. Now this next person is 19.5 miles away, but they're higher on the list. Look how many orders that they've done, 1,500. What's the difference between 1256 and 1,500? Why is 1256 closer? Because it's 1.4 miles away, but that 20-mile notary, it lines you up based on certain criteria. And then, I mean, look how many notaries get that order before you get it, right? Just before you even see it. Now, I happen to know that I think you're on this list within certain amount of radius, or should be. I'd have to look, or no, I don't see you right away, but I'm scrolling pretty fast. Then it goes on to everybody else. And you can see by the little blue dots that these are people that have either worked with us or they've done a little bit of orders with us. They even get the orders first. So it goes down a pipeline. And when you're newer in the industry, you have to overcome everything all those parameters getting your mobile printer, mobile scanner, loading it up, getting people to favorite you, getting people to like you, getting the reviews after you do your orders, all of those things are going to matter when it goes to the order. And if we weren't recording this, I could show you in, a private meeting, how that works. And we've done other videos. It's just, I can't show phone numbers and things on the screen. And other notaries information. So it has to be anonymous. But it just goes down a list. And Unlimited Ink, we like speed up that list. We actually have somebody whose job is only to speed up the orders so that we get a huge sample size of notaries between Notary Stars and everyone else available, close or not close, to see who's the best notary to send that assignment to. And that's what they're probably doing, is you may be getting, some of them may be doing a cattle call and saying whatever. Some of them may say the first notary that says yes. You've got to find out what each company wants from you and look at what they want from you. Ours, we actually have an email that goes back to the notary when they click yes, that tells them what we're looking for while we're trying to assign it.
So bottom line is time and grade and being able to somehow get some history with them. So for sure. One hand still up, Mr. Mickle, and 5 minutes left. Lakeisha, would you like to unmute and ask your question?
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Hi, good evening. I don't really have a question, just more of a statement. I kind of put it in the chat. So I'm a Mac user with a Brother printer, and my Mac computer just recently did a operating system update. And as a result, I can no longer print mixed sizes with my brother's printer. So I'm just kind of giving people a heads up before you update, to kind of just know that you may run into this situation. Like, I never had any issues prior to my update, and now it's not working. So I just wanted to just give people a little heads up so no one gets put in the situation that I'm kind of in right now, trying to figure out how to solve it to get back to being able to print my letter in legal.
Did you try updating Adobe as well?
I did.
Okay. I will have Travis look into this so we can get ahead of it, because I will tell you it will be a problem for us. If it's a problem for you, it'll be a problem for us as well. So I'll have Travis starting to look into this.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, we all hate technology problems, particularly when we get updates and it breaks something. It's frustrating as heck. Righty. And
Miss Beth, I think we've got about 3 minutes left. You think we can get one more question in here?
yep, I've lost my sheet though, so you're gonna have to help me out here.
I can feed it to you.
Okay.
So this one says, do notaries and loan signing agents have new criteria to follow when accepting ID from signers who are illegal citizens? We are seeing an influx of immigrants coming from all over the world, particularly Mexico and South America. Is there a new list of acceptable identification, particularly for basic IDs and for the Patriot Act form? I recently read an article published on the NNA. In the boost of several readers, we were in the boot, several readers were confused as to what is now acceptable for illegal immigrants.
And the boot, are we talking Texas? Is that what she means?
I don't know that term, so if that's the term, possibly.
Well, if you're asking me to comment on this, my first comment is that it's not our job to determine whether someone's here illegally or not. So the fact that they are immigrants poses different identification requirements for us, but the illegal part, we kind of need to leave that on the table because that's not our job, right? I don't know of any changes in IDing or documents that we can take that have changed in any state, and we don't follow it that closely for all 50 states. So you'd have to just keep checking with your Secretary of State or other governing body for any changes that have come up. We in Arizona don't have changes for IDs. Ronnie, do you know of any other ID changed states out there?
I don't, I just, you said it, but I just want to reiterate it. We need to be very, very careful about using that term illegal immigrant in our language altogether. It's, for notaries, our job is just to say, can we do this notarization or not? And as notaries, our job is to know what our state allows for ID requirements. And so we need to be very careful with that term illegal immigrant, especially in such a, sensitive culture that we live in today. You definitely don't want to refer to someone as an illegal immigrant that is not. That could be crossing lines and get you in a lot of trouble. And your job is just to know what your state requires. And in Arizona, we can't take a foreign passport or a foreign ID, but we can take a foreign passport for real estate purposes. We can't take a Mexican driver's license or a Canadian driver's license, but we can take a passport that has a visa in the back of it. That's all you need to know. You don't need to determine if that person's here legally or not. You just follow your handbooks and leave it at that. Like if they provide you sufficient evidence, and are there new IDs coming about? That is each individual state's, that is up to you and your state. So you have to look at those. And we try at Notary Stars, especially for unlimited ink side, to know what IDs we can accept. But it is up to you as a notary to know those and make sure you're following your handbook and looking for any updated handbooks that come out. And as Beth will tell you, they slide them in there in the middle of the night sometimes.
Oh, gosh, and no notice that they're even coming sometimes, for sure.
One thing you can do, and Beth, you and I've mentioned this, and I'm glad that we had that little joke there. One thing that you can do is set a Google alert for your notary handbook if a link changes, to let you know if that link changes. So learn to use Google Alerts. I'm not going to teach a class on that tonight. I'm sure my marketing students here tonight will be like, tell us on Wednesday. But you can set an alert if a link changes or if something updates on a web page to let you know. And that's one really great way to stay ahead of your updates.
Yeah, for sure. Looks like we've got a hand up from Miss Mary Phibbs.
Okay, just had a question about the passport with a visa. Is that, I haven't seen one and I don't have a passport with a visa. So is that just a stamp on the visa? And where can I find out what they look like?
Well, if that's what's authorized in your state, that's what Arizona says, right? We can take a passport with a USICS stamp in the back that tells us they're here legally for a reason, right? Sometimes that's a rubber stamp ink in the passport. Sometimes that's a card that's placed in the back of the passport. Sometimes it looks like a label where they peel off a sticky back and put it in there. So it just depends on what reason they're here. A student visa sometimes is issued an actual ID card. So Mary, you'll have to check your handbook and see what's acceptable for you. And then just Google those types of stamps or IDs and it'll show you an image of it.
All right, Miss Beth, I think we have reached our time tonight. I just want to ask everybody if you wouldn't mind turning on your cameras for just a moment. I'd like to do our signature wave for everybody and just make sure that everybody, sees each other's face for just a moment. It's not too much to ask unless you're driving a car. If you're driving, we understand. But
Come on, faces.
if you could turn on those faces for just a moment, we greatly appreciate it. I'm going to say it the way I say it. If you are not naked, let's turn on those cameras and let's give our signature wave to each other. Wave to those who couldn't make it tonight. Wave to those watching the replays. Wave to those future notary stars that are coming up. And Miss Beth, how do we really say it here at Notary Stars?
You want the really real or the one for this week?
Give us the one for this week.
Every week I've been trying to leave you with some sort of inspirational little quote. This week I'm just going to tell you that the cards you are dealt in life are less important than the way you play them. And remember, every day you're offered a new deal and new cards. Play wisely. You guys have a good evening. We'll see you next live class, or which is tomorrow, or next Monday for general mentorship at 5 p.m. Thanks so much, guys.